So guys, we're going to start now. Welcome to this webinar on how to buy pre-sales. And I look forward to giving you a lot of information. Now, a little bit about myself. My name is Raman Dhillon. I'm a realtor with Gorilla Page. And we have created a website, and you've probably heard of it. It's called ipresalecondos.com. And in real estate, I have about 18 years of experience as a realtor. Okay, I have 18 years of experience as a realtor, and 25 years of experience as an investor. I bought my first investment property in 1997. It was a condo in Central City. And since then, I've been interested in real estate. And 18 years ago, I made real estate my career. Now, I'm a licensed property manager as well. So when you buy from us, what we can do is we can even rent it for you. So I'm licensed for that too. Okay. And one of the things we have successfully done for ourselves, and we have started teaching people as well, is how to structure deals, because the way I was doing it at the start was completely wrong. And throughout those mistakes, what I've learned is how to structure things better. For example, buying properties under holding companies to save, to apply some tax strategies where you can save money on taxes. So we sit with clients and we show them how you can obtain multiple mortgages, right, to buy these properties and what kind of strategies you should be applying. We also show you tax saving strategies, because if you have ever talked to a mortgage rep and then talk to an accountant, they're on two different pages. My job as a realtor is to bring them on the same page. So you as a client can benefit. And we've done that for ourselves, and we are doing that for clients now. So today, and the other thing is, throughout the years, what we have learned is we are here to educate and guide people. I'm not here to sell anything. My job is to give you so much information that you can take this information and actually make an educated choice when buying or selling real estate. Okay. So for today's content, which is how to buy a pre-sale and what kind of things you should look for. So this is what we're going to cover. It's a jam-packed day today. So I'm just going to talk briefly about what is a pre-sale, kind of put things into context. The second thing is, and actually this is the first thing that you should be looking at, is location, right? And what to look for when you look for location. The second thing is something we call in our pre-sale terminology is product mix. And you want to, and I'll talk about that a bit more in next few slides. The next thing you want to look at when buying a pre-sale is layouts. What kind of layouts are available in any projects, and how to kind of weed through and eliminate some of these layouts that are what we call dead layouts that will not resale favorably, right? And chances are you won't make money on these. So we show you that. The fifth thing you want to look at is pricing. You want to study the pricing model of the developer and understand and learn how to evaluate the pricing models of the development. The next thing we're going to talk about are the amenities and how and what you should go for and what you kind of should avoid. Also contracts. Contracts are huge because there are lots of, the contracts, first of all, is written in the favor of the developer. Developers write these contracts. You can't scratch things out. Some things we have been able to, and we'll show you what they are. But you have to be careful what you're signing. And this is where experience comes in, because I read through these kind of contracts a lot. And as soon as I see something new, I pass it on to the law firms, the lawyers I'm friends with, and I'll ask them, hey, what does this mean, right? So it's really important to understand the contract, what you're signing. Just don't sign blindly. With our practice, what we do is we get you to sign, but you have 7 days time where we sit with you and review the contract with you as well. Okay. Mortgages. How do mortgages work with pre-sales? And do you actually need a mortgage at the time of writing? And should you get a mortgage? And we'll talk about this a bit more. We actually have a RBC mortgage rep with us today. So I'll actually ask her questions on the spot. So Raman, I'm hoping that you're ready for this. That's number 9. We're going to talk about assignments and what does the assignment mean and how do they work. We're going to talk about major details, like you want to know like what the strata fees are, what does it include, when is completion date, how is strata fees calculated. So all these things we'll talk about in major details. The next thing we're going to talk about is ipresale condo advantage. Now, as you know, being an experienced realtor for 18 years and specializing a lot in pre-sales, what we have done recently is we've been in the background working on a website called ipresalecondos.com. And we have brought together all these pre-sale projects onto this one site. And so we'll talk about why should you buy from ipresalecondos.com, okay? And then we are starting to rate projects. So when we work with you, what does IPC rating mean? And we'll go over that on how we do that. Then we will talk about, we'll offer you a success strategy meeting where we cater this meeting to individuals. So we will sit with, and as many people will sit with you, understand your needs, ask you questions, and then based on your needs, we'll make up a game plan for you. Our goal is to show you how to accumulate 3 to 5 properties in the next 10 years, depending on your situation, all right? And that's our goal for you. And then you can fire away questions, but please, if you have any questions as I go through slides, just put it up on the chat and I'll open up the chat here. So I have it open so I can see it, all right? So do ask questions as we go along, and no questions are dumb. So always ask questions, and that's how you learn, all right? So here we go. So what is a presale condo? Presale condo is also known as pre-construction. So if you hear, oh, we are doing a pre-construction sale, it's a presale condo sale, okay? Developers, what they do is when they market these, they sell the condos before they're built, which kind of says pre-construction, which is obvious. But what they'll do is they will open up a showroom. They'll have beautiful brochures, which we call a kit in our realtor language. So if you hear this terminology, it means brochure, feature sheets, floor plans, and approximate prices. So they give you all this, and when you walk through the showroom, they have display homes. So you can actually walk through a model home and just see how it feels. Look at the finishing, look at what they're offering, and then decide based on that if you want to pick something up. There's layers of protection. So with layers of protection for buyers, you have 7 days when you write the contract. If you go in and you write the contract, you have 7 days time to actually back out. You can actually write an email to the development team or myself and say, hey, for whatever reason, you can say, I would like to back out of this deal because I've changed my mind. And rightfully, you can back out. And whatever deposit you have given at the start, you get that back, okay? And by law, a developer, whatever deposit you give, let's say a $10,000 draft or $5,000 draft, rightfully, they cannot cash that draft within 7 days. So they have to keep that draft, and then they give you that draft back if you write them an email saying, I would like to cancel this deal, okay? So you have that protection. And then the other one is deposits. So according to REDMA Act, the Real Estate Act is for normal resale homes. For pre-sales, we have a Real Estate Development Marketing Act. And in that act, it shows that the developer is not supposed to take your deposits directly. Lawfully, they have to hire a law firm. And whenever you give deposit, it has to be made out to that law firm in trust, and they hold that deposit until completion. And if the developer fails to complete, you get that money back. So there's no way a developer can run away with your money. And so know that your deposit is protected. And if you see anyone asking for deposit directly under their name, that you should not do. Okay, run away from it. Now, second part, location. You've heard this a lot of times when it comes to real estate. It's all about location, location, location. So what does that mean? Okay. What is close by? So if you think of it, and if you look at the geographic map of Lower Mainland, transit is a huge factor, especially with gas prices going up. A lot of people are opting into transit. And if you look at what's happening, how our infrastructure is growing, the new SkyTrain going from Surrey to Langley, in that route, the city of Surrey has decided that they're going to high densify that corridor all the way to Langley City. And Langley City has announced that they will do a downtown out of Langley City. And that whole area is changing now and developing. So whenever SkyTrain has come in an area, that area has grown a lot. It has developed a lot, right? And if you look at the Google map, like this right here, this picture shows you where the transit stations are. You can do this with restaurants. You can do this with school and childcare, which is really important to people too. So you have to think how families live. They want transit nearby for traveling and going to work. They want schools nearby, elementary school, secondary school, daycare, Montessori school. So all these schools they want nearby, right? And shopping as well. So these are some of the important factors when families are buying. And you have to look at the location of a place and think, does this make sense? Like, for example, I'll give you an example. If you are looking at buying a condo and you're buying in Maple Ridge, it's a beautiful area. The only concern to me as an investor is that there is no transit. There is no SkyTrain coming there. They have West Coast Express, but they don't have the SkyTrain. So these are some of the things you want to think about and when buying a place. And a couple of resources. And here's another thing, parks. A lot of people like parks. And we, in the city of Surrey, you can see parks are everywhere, right? You want to see what's coming in that area. For example, Langley City has the SkyTrain coming all the way across Fleetwood, Cloverdale. There's SkyTrain coming all the way to Langley City. In Cloverdale, we have a hospital coming, right? So a second hospital is coming on 180th and Highway 10. So if a SkyTrain is coming there, a hospital is coming nearby, you want to look for pre-sale construction around that area because that area is going to increase in value. And look at what's happening in that area. Educate yourself with what's happening in these locations, right? Now, whenever SkyTrain comes to an area, they densify everything around that area. So it becomes high density. So buying a project around these areas would make sense because the new projects that come out, they won't be at the same price. Doesn't matter what the economy is doing and whatever economic cycle we're going through, we're going through a recession and right now, and it'll take a year and a half to go through this mess, but we will reach that expansion stage too. And when we do, that's where you see prices move up as well, right? So you want to think of, you want to use this website called WalkScore and type in the address. This is in Central City. I own an apartment here. So look at the scores they give, right? So you want to look at what kind of scores are they giving, and based on this information, pick a location, okay? So that's a lot about location. The second thing, product mix. And what does product mix mean? So what you want to look at, whenever you look at a pre-sale, you want to ask the salespeople there, what is your product mix? And product mix means, like, how many studios do you have? How many one bedrooms and dens, two bedroom and dens, three bedrooms. So this is the product mix of a project called Pura that is in Central City area. And look at how many plans they have, right? There's a project coming up with, I think, 180 units, and they have 52 different plans. So now your goal as an investor is to look through each and every plan and say, well, okay, which one should I go for? Which one makes sense? Does this A4 make sense or A5 make sense when it comes to one bedroom and den? And there's a lot of analysis that goes on when you look at the product, the layouts and the product mix. So for example, like A5s, there's 36 of them. So that shows me that there's a high quantity, high supply of A5s, and there's a low supply of a B2 plan. Like, look at all these different plans, and low supply of two bedroom, two bath. So you want to look at what makes sense for you, what the price gap is between all these different product mix, okay? The next thing is layout. Now, this picture at the bottom here shows you a site plan. A site plan basically shows you how many units are in this level, and how do these plans now basically lay out in these floors, right? So if you look at the D plan, A5 plan, it's a whole bunch of A5s here. So you have to understand the site plan. And what you want to ask for is, site plan is good, layouts are good, but you want to ask the development for an architect's plan. And if you are interested in buying, let's say, a D floor plan, you want to look at what the measurements are of the bedroom. Because what if this bedroom right here happens to be 10 by 7? That's quite small. So you always want to look at the architect's plan before making that decision, okay? Floor plans, you want to review floor plans. So I have here, I have floor plans for Pura, and because time is of the essence, I won't be able to go over all these floor plans, but what I'll do is I'll show you what I look for when I look at floor plans. So here we go. So when you look at the floor plans, you want to look at, first of all, what plan it is. What are they calling the plan? Then you want to look at the interior square footage and the exterior square footage and total square footage. Sometimes some development will not show this, but they'll just show total square footage. So you want to find out what the balcony size is, because in terms of resale, we don't consider that much of the balcony size when we calculate price per square foot, unless it's a huge balcony. And in this case, it's actually a pretty big balcony. So we would price it accordingly, right? Now, here at the bottom right corner, you will see the site map that I showed you in the other slide. And you can see in the dark shade here where this unit will be located. You can see right here which way north is facing. So this happens to be on the west side. So west side, when you buy on the west side, you get evening sun. And if you buy on the east side, you get evening sun. North side is the darkest. Northeast is the darkest. So when you go northeast, it's okay. But what you want is a lighter floor plan. And you want to make sure, don't go with anything dark, because the lighter floor plan kind of compensates for the light. And if you go with south, south has the most sun. Throughout the day, you'll get a lot of sun. So if you like sun, then you want to be on the south. If you like morning sun, east, evening sun, west, right? So this is how you study the floor plan, the layout right here, okay? So when I look at this layout, you also have to imagine walking through this layout. Like if you look at this, the depth here from this wall to this wall in the living room, dining room, and kitchen, it's really important for me to know what the depth is. And once I understand, okay, it's not 7, it's maybe 12, then I know it's actually a good size. So it's really important to learn that. Now, one thing I like about this plan, and so you have to imagine yourself walking through, and then you have a washroom on your right, you walk through, you have a bedroom here, you have his and hers closet, you have a door going into the washroom. This layout is a good layout because it has this door here and a door here. And some of these layouts, you will see that there is no door, so you cannot access your bathroom from your bedroom. So, which means you would have to walk out and walk into your bathroom, which is not the best layout. So there's a few things like these that we point out when we analyze floor plans. And my job is to basically eliminate the dead floor plans, okay? Let's look at, so these are 1 bedrooms. I'm just gonna go through, like for example, I wanna go through a 2 bedroom for you, okay? One bedroom and den. Now, these are coming up more and more. We're seeing a 2 bedroom, 1 bath units coming up more and more. You have to really look at prices between the 1 bedroom and dens. You have to look at the prices between 2 bedrooms and then 2 bedroom and 1 bath, and then properly analyze what makes sense financially. So sometimes you can actually pick up a good deal on a 2 bedroom, 1 bath, right? So here's a 2 bedroom, 2 bath, right? And this is on a ground level. Let's go on the higher level. So if you look at this, you have an entry point and you have a kind of a walkway right here. I usually don't like these layouts because I call this wasted space, right? This whole thing is kind of wasted, but it has the bathroom here. You walk through, you have an open area for dining, living room, kitchen. You have a bedroom here, and then bathroom close to the 2nd bedroom, which people like. And you have a master bedroom, walk-in closet, and an ensuite. So not a bad layout. And it's a corner unit too. So I can see windows here. So a lot of natural light coming in, right? And the only thing I don't like is this wasted space right here. But all the other features kind of compensate. So I would not call this a dead plan. I would keep this in my list of 2 bedroom, 2 bath. But now I would like to know what the size of this room is to basically eliminate this plan if I want to, right? So that's how you look at layouts, okay? Any questions so far, guys? While I change back to my presentation. Oh. Let's give me 1 second. There we go. Okay. So you want to review the floor plans and understand what direction they are. You want to understand what's around that direction too. What if there's on your left side, on the east side, for example, there is a busy road. So you want to stay away from that. So you eliminate the east side. What if on the east side, there's a driveway going into the underground parking? So you don't want to buy around that area because you'll always hear the gates opening up, gates closing, people speeding out, people speeding in. So these are some of the things you want to think of when buying a place, okay? Now, when you look at prices, now a lot of developers, because it's very competitive in this industry, they will not share prices with you. What they'll do is they will share starting prices with you. So here, the way to read this is starting price high 300s, so around 390s. So the smallest square footage is at 390. So the higher square foot would be way more, right? So that's how you study, that's how you read this, the pricing. And how do you determine if a price is good? It's understanding your, is correct. It's understanding your price per square foot calculation. So what we do is when we go to the actual project on the day of writing, on the day of selecting suites, we look at what price the unit is selling for. So for example, if the unit is 450,000 and it's 500 square feet. So what we do is we take 450,000, right? So 450,000, and you divide that by, so 450,000, and you divide that by 500 square feet. And it gives you price per square foot, which is $900 per square foot. Now you take that and you look at, in a resale market, what things are selling for. The larger the gap, the larger the gap between the resale and the pre-sale market, the less profit you'll make, okay? So you want to look for a project that completes in 2025, but it's priced really close to the resale market, what things are selling for now, and not things that are 12 years old. You want to compare apples to apples. So maybe 1-year-old building or 2-year-old at the most, and how much are they selling for? And do price per square foot calculation. And that's how you evaluate basically how it is. Now, when we, in a resale market, when we do price per square foot calculation, we never include the balcony size. So remember when we were looking at the floor plans had interior square footage and the exterior. We look at only the interior square footage. So keep that in mind, okay? The other thing you want to do is, because with pre-sales, there's GST that is your cost. So rightfully, I like calculating the GST as well and knowing what my price per square foot is. So a lot of developers don't do that. I do that personally when I buy things, right? And if I'm moving into something, then I will consider subtracting the property transfer tax if the price of whatever I'm buying is below 750,000. Because with resale, property transfer tax it will be charged if you're over 550,000, and with pre-sales up to 750, you get no charge. You don't pay property transfer tax if you're going to live there. You don't even have to be a first-time buyer. You can be a second-time, third-time buyer, and you can take advantage of that because you plan to live in that pre-sale when it completes, okay? Now, so this is what I mentioned. You want to find out the gap between the pre-sale and the resale market and see how much you are paying. And this line I use a lot. The way developers price their pre-sales is not the way I would price a resale. So when this unit completes, my goal is to pick out a unit based on this starting prices, based on the price strategy that the developer has applied, and look at the prices and say, okay, I will actually make money on this unit. If I buy this unit right now, I'll right from start, I'll actually gain financially because I'm buying this unit, because they have priced it different. And there's opportunity for me to gain from that, right? So you have to understand how to do that. And once you look at the prices, you'll look at things, you'll understand. Now, amenities is a big thing too. What does the building have? So some buildings have pool, steam room, sauna, hot tub. These things cost a lot to maintain. Like I've been on 5 different strata councils, and I like being on councils where I am invested personally. So whenever, and one of the buildings has all of this, and we're paying quite a bit to maintain this. But the good thing is that we have a large number of units, and these amenities are shared between 2 buildings. So we're not paying much, right? So you have to, if you have pool, steam room, all these fancy amenities, you want to make sure that you're buying in a large development, and these things are shared. You want to look for if they have like a party room or amenity room where people can hang out. Also, you want to find out from developers' disclosure, will the developer be furnishing this, or will they be giving you empty space that you have to furnish? Because once the council forms, the owners have to pitch in to buy sometimes the furniture in these buildings, in these amenity rooms. So you want to avoid that, okay? Indoor, outdoor theater is becoming famous now. Outdoor area is becoming famous, where you can barbecue and all of that. Dog park, kids play area is becoming pretty famous. Fire pits and seating areas are becoming famous. Some buildings actually have guest rooms. So if you have guests over from out of town, you can actually rent that room for like 40, 50 bucks a night. And it has like an ensuite and almost like a hotel, right? Some buildings have daycare. There's a project in Central City. There's actually 2 projects where they will actually have a daycare downstairs, right? Shared workspace. So more and more people are working from home now, and developers realize that, and they're building a space where you can actually go and sit and work. Concierge. Concierge is a great thing for security, for peace of mind, right? So there's always somebody there looking after the building and looking at things. You also want to make sure that there's ample of storage lockers and visitor parking as well, right? Now, the next thing is contracts. And I'll zip through these because we're going to run out of time soon. One of the things you want to make sure is you read through the contracts. Please, whatever you do, read through your contracts and understand what things mean. Because we saw that there was a developer asking for price adjustment in his contract. And when they ask for price adjustment, what they mean is at completion, if the prices have gone up of the cost of doing construction, they can actually raise your price. They can change your price. In a normal contract, they cannot. But if they have these clauses in their contract, they actually can. So you, as a buyer, have to be aware when you're buying this that they don't have this clause. And if they do, tell them that, you know what, I want this crossed out. I will not buy if you keep this clause in your contract. And lots of these guys will cross this out, but they want you to catch it, right? And that's where we come in with so much experience. We actually look for, like, I've read through so many contracts, and as soon as I see something new, I know what is new. And if I don't understand something, I have friends who are lawyers, and I pass it by them and say, hey, what do you think of this? And tell me, should I get this crossed out, right? And this is, if you look at this clause on the right, this is self-explanatory. Like, this is crazy. If you buy a place and they have this, you'll be paying more, right? What you also want to look for is what kind of subjects does the developer have, especially at this time? Because some of these contracts I'm finding is the developer has a clause where they're saying we have 1 year to get our financing in gear. And if we don't get it, we can actually back out and refund everyone's money. So you want to look for these kind of things and understand who the developer is. Are they new? Are they like names like Boza and Concord? And a reputable builder will have this clause, but you know that they have financial backing to complete the project. So you don't have to worry, but you always want to look at the contract and read those clauses, right? What is a disclosure statement? So by law, the developers have to file a developer's disclosure statement letting you know who they are, who are the partners in the development, what is the development all about, how many parking are they going to have, how many storage lockers are they going to have, what kind of product mix are they going to have. And they talk about the strata, the bylaws, the legal description of the whole project. They talk about rental restrictions, and lots of these don't have it, but you must read Form J to find out if there's anything that restricts you from renting out your specific strata lot. Because I've seen some of these disclosure statements have where they say strata lots 50 to 400 can rent, strata lots 1 to 50 can have restrictions. So you want to make sure that none of that is written in there. What are amendments to disclosure? So by law, developers have to file this disclosure, give you a package. It's like 200-300 pages. Whenever they change things on these disclosure statements, they have to amend it, and they have to send you a copy and get your acknowledgement that you did receive it. So it's your duty to read through this and understand it and decide if you agree with it or not. And at that point, you have to actually get a lawyer's help. So we actually have relationships with lawyers now where if 5 amendments come, we forward it to them, they review it. They will tell me what the amendment says and if it's safe for us to sign. And then I forward you that email and let you know if it's okay or not okay to sign and what our next steps are. So you don't have to spend money. We do it with our contacts. The only thing we ask is at the time of completion, you use that same lawyer who is helping you kind of define all this, because now that lawyer is knowledgeable more about the project, right? So it's a win-win situation for both of us, okay? Now, mortgages. How do mortgages work with pre-sales? So I have a few questions, and I actually have a friend on this call. Her name is Raman Dhillon. She's a mortgage rep from RBC. And I know RBC has some amazing products. So I'll ask specific questions to Raman. And Raman, if you can unmute yourself. So I'll just go over this question with you and kind of put you on the spot here. So just so you know, you don't need, like, it's not mandatory that you have a mortgage at the time of writing the contract, okay? So you don't need a mortgage at that time because you're getting a mortgage at completion date. Completion date might be 2027. But now, Raman, if you can help us understand a bit about the pre-sale environment and how do mortgages work, if I buy a pre-sale project right now that completes in 2027, can I qualify for a mortgage? And how does that work?
Yeah, thank you so much, Ravi. Absolutely, you can qualify for the mortgage. I actually encourage and advise clients that they should be getting a mortgage within that 7-day recession period to make sure the financing and everything is in place. So RBC does extend firm approvals within the 7 business days.
Okay, so now in the mortgage industry, I've heard that the mortgage is good for what, 90 days, and what's the use of getting a mortgage if it's only good for 90 days or 120 days? If this project completes, let's say in 4 years, will you approve it and will it fund in 4 years, or do I have to jump through hoops to get approved for a mortgage at completion?
Thank you, Ravi. That's an excellent question. So the main difference between the way the mortgages are. So you are correct. When you do get a mortgage, it's good for 120 days. But with a pre-sale, once we get you approved within that 7 business days, your project could, close within 2, 3, 4, or 5 years. You are firm approved until you take your keys. So absolutely, you do not have to go through the qualifications again. Once you are firm approved, you are until you take your keys, and nothing will shake that approval.
Awesome. So I want to use an example from this. And this is so important that you guys do this if you're buying a pre-sale project. I bought something in 2017. It completed in 2016 and completed in 2018. And the price actually went down. And it was a townhome, 4-bedroom, 3-bath. I bought it at $699. It went down to $620. And now I had to complete, but I had my approval. So the bank didn't do an appraisal. They said, you know what, you actually got it approved at the time of purchase. Here's the money. And all I did is, you don't panic if the price does such, like if the price fluctuates for short term. All you do is you buy it and you rent it. And that's exactly what I did. And today, that at the peak, that same townhome went up to 1.3 million. And right now it's hovering around 1 million, right? With the prices coming down now. So keep in mind, if something like that does happen to you, don't panic. It's okay. But hold the project and rent it out. Find good tenants and place good tenants in there and have it rented. Now, Raman, I know that the rates are much higher, right? When you approve them. So how do rates work?
Yeah. So with rates, what we do is we have something called a holding rate, which you are correct. It is a little bit higher than the retail rates. But however, when we do a mortgage for a client, we do guarantee them the low rate. So what we do is, at the time of an approval, we will utilize our holding rates that will be catered to the project, right? If it's 3 or 4 or 5, we'll have a rate that's set for that project. When the project gets 120 days to the closing, we will take a look in the market. We will take a look at RBC's rates. If the rates are lower than the rate that would utilize, we will honor and guarantee the client the low rate. If the rates have gone up, the client's rate has been capped at that holding rate that I utilized to get them approved. So with that being said, I tell my clients, your situation, once you're approved on this, pre-sale, it only gets better, not worse. But if you don't have your mortgage in place, it can worse, as we can see what has happened in the last, 4 to 5 months with rates alone. So if a client is approved, their rate's only going to get better, but not worse, because the holding rate will come with a cap. Awesome.
Okay, good to know. So 120 days prior to completion, you look at what the rates are at. If the rates you have given me is better, I go with that. If the rates are lower, you actually redo the rates and give me the lower rate, right?
Absolutely. We actually guarantee the low rate. So we actually use the word guarantee, that you are guaranteed the low rate. If the rates are gone up, let's not forget you are capped, so your rate cannot go up. So you're still going to get a lower interest rate.
Excellent. Okay. So Raman is a mortgage rep with RBC and has a lot of experience. Her number will be, we'll send out a video on YouTube, and her number will be under the description as well. But in this slide, we have included her number. If you want to write this down, give her a call if you have any questions. She would love to answer any questions and clarify anything you have. All right. So next slide. Thanks, Raman. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ravi.
So you've heard so much about this assignments, and a lot of people were doing this. And so what is an assignment? What does an assignment mean? So when you're buying a pre-sale, you're buying basically the right to complete on a unit that's not built. So you actually have a contract in hand. And now, while the building's building, So let's say this project called Pura completes in late 2024. So, and there's another project coming up called Core that completes in 2027. So let's use that as an example. You buy something now and you have the right to complete. And in 2025, market goes up and you decide, hey, I want to sell my right to somebody else. And that somebody else may say, well, I love this project. It's sold out. I want to buy here. And I like the unit you have. I'll pay you 100 grand more for your unit. So what people are doing now is buying these for the purposes of assigning it to the next person. All right. So, and that's what the assignment of sale means. So you're selling your right to complete to that other person for a profit and sometimes loss. Now, should I buy a pre-sale condo with that end goal in mind? Absolutely not. Our goal is to accumulate properties. Our goal is to accumulate properties and have a portfolio of properties, maybe under a holding company, and learn how to accumulate multiple properties and have them all rented. That should be your goal. Don't think short term. You do need permission for assignments. So it's not like you bought it and now you can actually just assign it to anyone. You have to have developers' written consent before you can assign, okay? And this is actually good for us because we are getting, there's a lot of developers that know us now through iPresale Condos and 18 years of experience that we have with them. And we go to them and we tell them, look, my client wants to assign. I know you're not allowing assignments, but can you do this for me? And I've actually got permission to assign and without it going on MLS, all right? And we find our own clients. We have a big database of buyers. So we send it out to them and try to assign your unit if you had to sell. But our long-term strategy is to keep and accumulate. There's fees involved. So some developers will charge you 1%, 2%. I've seen as high as 5%. The ones that are charging 5%, they're charging 5% because the government has made it extremely difficult for this process to go on. And there's so much paperwork we have to fill out that it takes a lot of time to do all this. And it's costly because now the developer has to also include a lawyer in this process. So the developer incurs cost and that cost is passed to you. And the developer says, well, if you're assigning and making a profit, we want a cut from that profit, which is unfortunate, but that's what they do, right? So terminologies you should know. Lift, whenever you hear, hey, what is your lift? Lift means profit. So let's say you bought a condo for, pre-sale condo for 450,000, A1 plan, A5 plan. And now that same condo in 2026 is worth, let's say from 450, it's worth 600. So now your lift, your profit is basically 450, 600 minus 450, minus all the fees. When you assign, we as realtors will charge you fees as well, because we have to find buyers, facilitate the sale and do the contracts for you, right? So you have to know that. A signer is you. So when you are on the contract is totally different than the normal contract. So one has to really know how to write up these contracts. And we've done this so many times. So we're quite familiar with these contracts. Assignee is the new buyer. So the person who's buying it is the assignee. Okay. Assignment contract, like I said, it's a totally different contract. If you haven't done any assignments, you'll see when you have to do one, it's very time consuming to fill these out. Now, major points you should always know about a project. One is the completion date. And what is the outside date as well? So completion date might be 2027 September. And the developer will say, well, in case something happens, in case there's a strike or earthquake or something, I need another 12 months to complete on this. So there would be an outside date too. So you should mentally prepare for those things. You also want to ask, what are the deposit structures? So some of the famous deposit structures are where you when you write, they want to know that if you're serious, and they ask you to bring a $10,000 deposit draft, and then to top it up to 5% or 10% within 7 days. And that 10,000 plus the top up of 10% goes into the developer cashes it after 7 days, and now the contract is firm. Okay, so you want to ask the deposit structure, and then after maybe 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, they might ask for another 5%, and then after 6 months after that, they might ask for another 5%. So it's really important to know the deposit structure. And with some developments, we have managed to negotiate a better deposit structures for our clients. Decorating allowance, what does that mean? So this terminology means basically a discount. And this is a fancy way of saying discount in a pre-sale industry. And the person who benefits with decorating allowance is the person who is completing on the deal. So if you assign this, the person who is taking the assignment is benefiting from decorating allowance. So when you price your assignments, you want to make sure that you take that into account as well. Okay. Strata fees. You want to find out what the strata fees are in a project. We've seen strata fees as high as 69 cents per square foot. So if a project is, if a unit is 1,000 square feet inside and has 150 square foot balcony, I will not calculate strata fees based on 1,150 square feet. It's only 1,000 square feet times that 69 cents. So now I know my strata fees will be $690, right? So always ask what the strata fees are, and they'll give you. They won't tell you exactly what they are, but they'll tell you it's only 49 cents per square foot. Deficiency walkthrough, you need to understand what that means. Like with pre-sales, unlike resales, like with resales, we do inspection. With pre-sales, because it's covered under the 10-year warranty, the developer will allow you few weeks or months before completion to walk through the unit and point out what are the defects in the place. And you don't have to take an inspector, but when you start living there, you'll find that, oh, the switch doesn't work. Oh, the faucet is leaking or something's happening. And within the first year, the developer is supposed to send back trades and make sure everything's fixed for you. So you don't have to worry about any major things, okay? Within the first year warranty also, you must send in writing to the developer what needs to be fixed. And if the developer is not cooperating with you, then you need to send that information to your property manager, to Travelers Insurance, the warranty company, to let them know, look, these are the things I need fixed. And you need to send that within that first year. So always be mindful of that. Completion process. How will completion process work? So once you do your deficiency walkthrough, the developer will give you like 2-3 weeks time. And a lot of people, what I found is we would tell them, look, your completion is coming up in December and we still have time. But many people procrastinate when it comes to getting their mortgage done. So people who choose not to get their mortgage now, at completion, you want to make sure you start that process at least about 120 days prior to completion, because it will take time for you to get approved. And if there's any hurdles you have, then you can come over them, right? In timely fashion. Don't do mortgages like 10 days prior to completion. That's all I'm saying. Now, with iPresale condos, these are the advantages. Like, we have done this for the longest time. And one of the things I created is an amazing value for you guys, where I use my 25 years of real estate experience, 18 years of my being a licensed realtor as well. We have created a one-stop real estate shop. So where we have hired an in-house property manager who, when you buy from us, we'll rent it for you. Like we've had calls come in where people have said that, do you know what, we're completing on a townhome. Can you help us rent it? No, we cannot, because you didn't buy it from us. So we only do this for our own clients and no one else. So you can be assured that we're not busy with other people. We're only looking after your stuff, right? We also do a retirement plan. So with real estate, you have to plan things properly. You have to plan things properly and long term. And what is your 10-year plan? If you know that we're going through a recession and soon we'll come out of it, and we're going to go through the expansion cycle of the economic cycle, right? What is your plan? What is your plan when all these people start coming into Canada, and because of this recession, it has completely slowed us down in terms of building enough supply. So are you prepping yourself for a financial freedom plan? And this is what we show you, how you can actually retire by accumulating properties and what is the right way to do that, right? We give you a professional buyer representation when you go to a development. I don't care what product they have, what price they have, but if I feel that you should not buy a certain layout, I'll let you know. If I feel the project is too high, I'll let you know. And then we move on to other projects. But as a buyer representative, my goal is to make sure that you are buying the right thing. And that's where this comes in. IPC, ipresale condo rating system. So remember all the content I talked about, like the location, the price, the amenities, the floor plans. What we will do when we work together is we will rate each content of the presale, and if we see that a project is rated 90 out of 100, that's the project you want to go for, compared to a project that's rated 50 out of 100, right? So if we see that the price comparison is there's a big gap between resale and presale, we will rate that project lower in terms of price. So now you can make that educated choice on what to go for, and with our systems in place, okay? We also offer a success strategy meeting where we'll ask you a lot of questions. We try to understand your needs better. And then based on your needs, we draft up a game plan. We introduce you to an accountant, our mortgage reps, who will structure things in a way where the accountant will work on tax saving strategies. The mortgage broker will work with the accountant to see how we can get qualified for the most amount of mortgage, and how do we do that, and how do we qualify for more and more mortgages as we go along, right? So do take us up on this. If you are thinking about starting a real estate portfolio, we would love to help you. And this is my direct line. So if you have any questions, give me a call anytime. I would love to chat, sit down for a coffee with you, and go over my thoughts about your plan, and then maybe after the success strategy meeting, we can go together what our plans are and how to accumulate these properties. All right. So now I'll open it up to for question and answers. If you have any questions, let me know. I would love to answer them. Anything I've missed, anything you can think of that I can clarify. Yes, Raman. You can type in your question.
Oh no,
too.
sorry. I was just giving you a little clap that it was so well done.
Oh, thank you. Thanks so much. Thank you. So yeah, just one last thing, one last note. If no one has any questions, you can call me if you have questions. No problems. I would love to help. Now, be careful of what you're buying, because every pre-sale project won't make you money. you want to make sure that you're buying the right things based on the content we covered today, right? Doesn't matter how much I say a pre-sale project is great, but if the point system show that it doesn't meet those criteria, it's not a good project, right? So I look forward to helping you. I look forward to answering any questions you may have. Our numbers are in the description under this video. Give us a call if you have any questions and set up a success strategy meeting with us. I'll send you a link. Everyone who attended, I'll send you guys a link. And I look forward to helping you. All right. Thank you so much for attending and have a great day. Thanks, guys.